Even as I just pressed record right now, I am wondering if I will have the guts to actually follow through and post this video, but I am going to record this right now and see if I can get outside of my comfort zone and share something so vulnerable, because while I have shared many other aspects of my personal life on this channel for talking points on minimalism and other personal philosophies I have quite obviously skirted around my dating life and been, while I've talked about past, like very long past relationships, I have not talked about anything in recent years, and for very specific reasons. But I decided I am going to rip that band-aid off today and share with you some intimate details about my intimate life, because I think it serves as a talking point for a greater philosophy that is shaped to be true in my life, and I think deserves some attention in regards to how people are operating in modern times. So we're going to delve into my dating life the past 10 years, because I have been actually single for these past 10 years. And drum roll, I have been celibate for the past 4 years, meaning no intimate interaction at all in my life. And I'm going to unpack for you today why this has been my reality. So without further ado, let's get to it. I was in a relationship from age 23 to age 30. That was a very significant and long relationship. Hi, John, if you're watching. We're still buds, so it's wonderful that we're still friends. After our little breakup period where we hated each other, we've become great friends in life, and I'm thankful for that. But age 30 was a long time ago now. I am turning 40 in a couple weeks, so that is essentially 10 years of being single. And while I have had a couple flings, if you will, or chaotic explosions of just very fast in and very fast out, if you will, and then I had one sort of longer, I hesitate to call it a relationship because it was more of a situationship. If anyone out there has been in one of those, you know what I'm talking about. It was not a healthy, qualified, balanced, like, yeah, we're a couple thing, but we were certainly together-ish for about a year and a half. But beyond that, I have spent most of the past 10 years alone. And the reason for this is, I can't really give you an exact reason, to be honest. There's underlying themes, I guess, but I would not say that I have planned to be single for the past 10 years, and certainly did not plan to take a vow of celibacy like monks do. While I respect that, that was not the intention when I broke up with my partner at age 30. I didn't set out to say, oh yeah, now I'm free and I'm gonna be single forever. And then in the past 4 years say, you know what? I'm just done having a love life for the rest of my life. This has not been the intention, but this has been how it's turned out. And there was sort of a trajectory for this. The preliminary years off of my breakup, I was not really looking for love, so to speak, right away. On the surface, but I think probably deep down my heart still was. But I was going into the dating world as a 30-year-old versus a young 23-year-old, and having been in a relationship for most of my 20s, I was honestly kind of naive as to what was out there. When I started dating again after the split, it was, for lack of a better word, ladies, you all know this term, the fuckboys. They're out there, and that was all I could seem to attract. Even though I didn't set out to, oh yeah, this is gonna be the one, I think in my heart, I was just never wired to do casual dating. So if we're looking for reasons, that would be reason-ish. Number one is I don't think I am wired to have casual interactions of any kind. Usually when I make friends, it's a friend for life. And when I take on a new hobby or an endeavor, it's usually a very long-standing passion that stays with me. I've never been one to just casually fill up my time with people, place, or things. I look for meaning and intention. And so to casual dating that just, oh, try it out, or have dinner with this person, or oh, that I met this person, they seem kind of nice, like, yeah, let's go to dinner. I just never really was wired for that. So when I was meeting these people, it oftentimes was a very strong chemical reaction, one of those, movie type situations where sparks fly and all of that. But it never worked out in my favor. If anyone has done a sort of relationship healing work, and this is not just for ladies, it's for men too, but oftentimes there is a pattern of, it's called attachment styles. There's anxious attachment and avoidant attachment. And especially for me, coming out of a 7-year relationship where I was very used to having someone around and actually had developed some codependencies, and having sort of abandonment wounds from childhood that I was starting to unpack, but hadn't fully worked through yet. And I think those are lifelong processes anyway. I was the classic anxious attachment style. So I was naturally attracting not other anxious attachments, because that's not how polarity works in the universe. I was attracting the avoidance styles. So whereas even at my head and my ego was like, oh yeah, let's just have fun, it's not really where I was. My heart was definitely looking for that special someone. And I had this fear of being let down or it not working out. And I would meet someone and develop feelings right away, because I am a very passionate and intense person, again, across the board, not just in dating, but with endeavors I take on in life, with who I choose to spend my time with, and what I choose to love in the world. I would meet these people and it would be just really strong chemistry and a really amazing connection, and nothing seemingly casual. And there would be, just really great potential, so to speak. And then it would blow up in my face almost every time and cause a lot of pain. And this isn't to point the finger at those people and say they were all awful, because I don't believe in that. And I don't want to be an angry, bitter man hater or say, oh, love sucks or love is pain, like you hear some people say. No, I'm still a hopeless romantic at heart, but I do know a little bit better now that oftentimes when these people come into your life, you're attracting for specific reasons, and way more subconscious reasons than you realize. You think, oh, this person, we just have this great connection, or they're really beautiful or attractive to me, or we can talk a lot, or the way he or she makes me feel. But really it's a deeper calling, spirit or the universe or whatever you want to call it, puts these people here as learning tools to overcome certain patterns in your life. And for me, it was certainly, the work was to be able to overcome this pattern of thinking I need someone else to be whole. I need someone else to feel loved. I need someone else to be okay. Because really the work I had to do was to be whole and okay and feel worthy and love and complete on my own. And I remember when I first started hearing these concepts in my 20s, I was like, well, that's bullshit. Like, there's no way. Like, I need someone else. Like, how do you just love yourself and feel cool with that? And I can tell you now, 10 years, 15 years later, after first hearing those things and then sort of seeing these patterns develop in my early 30s as I was coming out of that relationship and having this explosion after explosion of short-term failed relationships blow up in my face, it's a constant practice, and I'm better with it now, absolutely. But it's I think a lifelong practice to be able to just be okay on your own. And I was seeing these patterns show up in my life of like, okay, like I am clearly getting so attached to this person so quickly, and I have so much love to give, and we have this great connection, and then they run away because I'm attracting these avoidant types, the other polarity, the people that don't feel safe in relationships because of their own traumas. So again, they're not the bad guys. We were just showing up in each other's lives to provide lessons and growth, if you will. And it's always very painful, growth is, but that's where pain is our greatest teacher. And these people were showing up to brings to the surface deeper pain that I had had from years past, from childhood, different letdowns, and to be able to heal that wound and overcome it. Because if it's just stuffed down and you're not ever feeling it or facing it, it's going to come back and show up in your life over and over and over. And if you really don't feel whole and worthy and complete and loving in of yourself, it is actually very hard to maintain a healthy, good relationship. I think my partnership in my 20s was a healthy relationship in many regards, but I still had a lot of wounding and still was massively insecure and had very low self-esteem and self-worth. And so that did affect the relationship in a lot of ways. And it's very hard to really fully receive love when you don't love yourself. So these men that came into my life post breakup, where it was just that pain over and over and over and the loss over and over and over, it was to remind me, one, that I need to start attracting different people into my life, but two, that I need to be able to be okay on my own, because in the fallout of those circumstances, it can feel, for anyone that out there that's had a traumatic breakup, whether it was, I don't believe in time circumstances of, we were together 10 years, so it's more painful than someone you were with for 2 months, because you can feel strong emotion and connection for someone right away. I do believe in that. It's happened. It doesn't happen with every single person you meet, and it's definitely circumstantial, but that does exist. Chemistry and connection is a very real thing, but in the fallout of those experiences, while it was incredibly painful, it gave me a new gift each time to be able to be more okay with just being on my own. And it actually took me back to a way of being that I had sort of, in the 7 years of comfort of my relationship, and I had, prior to that, I left home when I was 16 to train synchronized swimming. I was trying to make the Olympic team. I was very independent growing up and spent a lot of time alone, and was always, I had certain insecurities on that because I thought I should have more friends, and now I understand that no, I'm just an introvert and that's actually okay. I had sort of lost that independence in my 20s, and as I was cycling through these fuckboys, if you will, it forced me to get back in touch with that in a good way, and it also just gave me a deeper understanding of my own patterning of, okay, in hindsight, when you're in the moment and you meet someone and you fall in love, you're like, oh my gosh, this person is the one, and you feel so blissed out, and that's wonderful, and you see all these wonderful qualities in them and think they're just perfect for you. And then you have the breakup, and then you have the remorse of like, oh my gosh, this one got away, or you start blaming yourself and thinking, what did I possibly do? Where did I go wrong? Why did this person not love me? And you go through that whole period of mourning, and then eventually the healing does come in. Sometimes for me, I tend to hold on to things. It can take a really long time, but the healing can come in, and you can see, you can have your angry face too, where you can start to see like, oh, well, that person actually sucked about this, and he was a jerk about that, and he was a total asshole about that. And that's kind of necessary for healing too, because that anger can help pull you out of the sorrow and depression a little bit. But then as time goes on and you come to a more state of homeostasis and peace, you can just see, oh, well, that's just wasn't my person. It was not supposed to work out, and that we were really unhealthy for each other in so many ways. And that person actually has so much wounding as well. And that's why we attracted each other, because we need to face these wounds and face our own patterning and be able to transcend that. So that was sort of the cycle of what took me up to about age 36-ish, I think. Yeah, about 4 years ago, I had one last short-lived thing, and when that expired, I didn't say to myself, okay, I'm done with men and I'm taking a vow of celibacy, because I think in some ways that would actually be easier to just be like, oh, nope, throw it in the towel, I'm done, and you don't have to deal with further potential heartbreak. And the other one, the ache of wanting to have someone in your life. But for whatever reason, just being totally honest, I have not met anyone in the past 4 years. There was one very brief, not even really dating thing, sort of interaction, and one sort of other connection that I had with someone. I'm not going to give too many details on that, but nothing really has transpired in the 4 years since my last interaction, if you will. And while this wasn't planned, I see many gifts in it, and it has given me a time to deepen my relationship with myself. And while I don't totally advocate this and say everyone should just go be celibate for a long time, because there are absolutely times where it sucks. It absolutely can be brutal to whether it's your heart aching for someone or the physicality of your biology aching for someone. Women, you know, when you ovulate, this is a powerful force. And if you are single, it can be totally brutal. But it has given me a lot of time to develop my relationship with myself, to come back into enjoying my own company, and to really start to learn who I am and what I want to be doing in this world, and sort of finding my own authenticity and living my own truth, because you can absolutely lose yourself in relationships. And I'm not, as I'm said again, I'm absolutely not anti-relationship. I think this life is meant to be shared, and there's so many beautiful things that can come in partnership, but there's also so many struggles that come in partnership as well. And if you are just stringing from relationship to relationship to relationship, or just in the dating circuit, which I will get to another pernicious side of that in just a second, there is little space to breathe and figure out who you are, and learning to know who you are and what you want to be doing in this world, and also to learn to become comfortable with your own company and not feel lonely. And as I said, that is definitely a practice, but the more you do it, the more advanced you can come with that state of being. If I can spend, when I was traveling in Oregon last year, there was a couple weeks where I had, besides just going to the grocery store, I had no human interaction, and I was okay with it. And I definitely, in my earlier 30s, I would not have been okay with that. And well, there's definitely more, there are some days where I really am craving partnership in my life. There are a lot of days where I'm just okay with myself. And this is, I think, an important state of being to come to before you can invite a healthy relationship in your life. But in the meantime, until waiting for this Mr. Right to show up, why have I not been dating? Why have I not been in the dating circuit? Why am I not putting myself out there, as they say to do, on social media? Or, well, I mean, I'm here on YouTube, hi. Although not a lot of my audience is actually American, and I'm sure very few live where I actually live, but this is not a dating channel, this is for other things. But as far as putting myself out there on dating apps, or just going out to bars and clubs or wherever the hell people meet people, the reason is, I think, well, one, I'm a big believer in serendipity, and it will happen when it's supposed to, if it's supposed to, and the right person will come into your life when that person is meant to. But as far as the dating culture, this is what I was alluding to earlier, and the accessibility with which people can date these days, I know there are a lot of success stories out there of, I just went to a few weddings for my cousins that met on Hinge or whatever. And there are some good success stories out there of people that, yes, they met online and now they're happily in a couple. And I think that's wonderful. But one, because I don't use social media besides this channel, I don't use it for personal life interactions on a day-to-day basis. It feels not genuine to me. But the bigger issue is the accessibility with which we have given people to date and be intimate on, I think has gotten a little bit out of hand. And I'm speaking specifically to hookup culture, to be blunt about it. Meeting new people and, meeting a new person and connecting and going to dinner, sure, that's great, but it has crossed the line into really, and I think it depends on what area you're into, but in California, it's very much like this, but it is like this in a lot of places in America, and I'm sure the world, with this 24/7 access to, hey, yeah, let's meet and let's push this relationship agenda, and, oh, I don't like your face, so I can just scroll. Oh, I don't like what you texted me, so I can just scroll. And there's this access to millions of people you can instantly meet in a dating app, and it's very much commodified sex. And this is the bigger issue of why I have been celibate for the past 4 years. I am, aside from any sort of religious doctrination or anything like that, I think sex is a very spiritual and beautiful thing, and the mass ubiquitous availability of these dating apps and hookup culture, and just meet a new person every day of the week and just get your fix whenever you want, has really destroyed something sacred that we can have between each other as human beings. And that's, love is love, whether it's man and a man, woman and a woman, woman and a man, non-binary, non-binary, trans, whatever, however you express yourself in the world, however you want to come together with another human being, I think it is sacred. And modern society has sort of, the pendulum swung from in the 60s to sexual liberation, which I do think it's a good thing to be able to live freely outside of somebody else's rules, but I still think it is something that should be respected and cherished, and it is sacred to be intimate with another person. But the dating app culture has sort of pushed on society that it's just another quick fix, just like ordering something online. Quick, oh, I want this, so I punch Amazon. Oh, I need it tomorrow, so I use Amazon Prime. Oh, I need it right now, I use Amazon Prime Plus or whatever the hell it's called, and it's on your doorstep in an hour. And you can do that with sex these days. And especially with ones like Tinder, where it really is just sort of out there that, yes, people are using that for sex. I think it's quite sad what has happened to something that is really meant to be beautiful and special. And like I said, I don't believe in any sort of in dogma rules of, oh, you should be married first, or, oh, you should be living together first, or even timelines of, oh, you should be dating this many months or this many weeks before you are intimate, or following any kind of rules. Like, no, not at all. Chemistry, like I said, often can be very quick, but there should be, my stipulation at least for it is, there should be an open heart connection and the willingness to explore a deep connection and the desire to explore a deep connection versus just, oh, hey, I like your face and you were witty in the messaging, so yeah, let's hang out and let's get our quick fixes. And I'm gonna date multiple people at once too and just play the field and have fun. Like, for me, I don't see it as fun or entertainment. Not that it can't be fun sometimes, of course it can, but I don't see it as this cheap fix entertainment that I should just source into my life. I do think it's a spiritual thing that comes into your life when it is supposed to be part of your life and should be cherished with that person and treated as such. And the lack of sacredness of modern dating culture, how it's just one person every other day, or I need my fix, or, oh, I'm dating this person, but they're out of town, so I'm gonna go date this person. I just think it's indicative of our disconnection from spirit and how we're destroying ourselves and the planet in so many other ways. That's just a symptom of that. It's why we can throw things in the trash so easily. It's why we can hoard and just want to redo our home so often and accumulate all these goods, and then, oh, that's out of style, so now I'm gonna get this one. It's why we can order things from Uber Eats and DoorDash or Grubhub when we could just walk our ass to the store and get it ourselves and save all the trash that's created from that. It's why we can treat animals like complete commodities and have factory farms where billions of animals are slaughtered every day so you can get your Big Mac for 99 cents. This just overall disconnection from spirit and lack of awareness of how sacred it is to be alive, how sacred it is to be able to take resources from the earth that nourishes us, and how sacred it is to be able to have partnership and communion and intimacy with another person. It's becoming an extinct thing, I think. And for me personally, because sex is so sacred to me, it is reserved for when I meet someone that I think it will be a deep, meaningful connection with. Again, does that mean that they propose on the first date? No, that's unrealistic and weird, but there needs to be a heart connection there and a willingness to go deep energetically and share life with, whether it's sharing life is a couple weeks or the rest of your life. You don't know, there's no guarantees, but I now can energetically see when it's just a surface level connection versus someone who's interested in going deeper with you. And those people that are interested in going deeper with you are not going to come along every day or every week or every month. And it's very hard to just source those and order them up on your dating app. It requires a lot of trust and patience. And I do believe in some sort of higher order keeping you on track with what you need at the time. And even though it is painful and lonely to not being in a relationship and have such a long stretch without sharing life with someone. I am not willing to devalue the sacredness of intimacy just to get a quick fix or just to fill up my time or say I have a boyfriend now or check a box that I went on a date or go get dinner paid for. I'm just not willing to do that. So how much longer will I not be dating? I have no idea. I absolutely would love to meet someone tomorrow. That would be great, but I have to be patient and exercise faith and stand in my integrity that with everything in life, whether it is what I'm consuming for my food, what I'm curating with my home with, what I'm taking from the environment, what I'm choosing to do with my time, and then who I'm choosing to invite into my life and my body in an intimate exchange, it all is sacred, and I am not willing to sacrifice that for surface level interaction, for any kind of quick fix. So I'll continue to be patient. If I do meet someone and it starts to go well, maybe I'll share that here. But in the meantime, I'm just going to stay in my practices and keep living my truth and keep exercising faith that the universe is always acting in my favor. Okay, that's my speech for today. Thanks for hanging out. And if you see this video, it's because I mustered up the courage to post this. It may be social suicide, as you will, to confess to being celibate for 4 years, but whatever. I already don't give a fuck about so many other areas of what people think about me, so I will probably just go ahead and put this out there for the internet. Okay, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.